There's a particular kind of woman who enters a space and something about it just shifts. She hasn't said a word and she doesn't have to. It's the way she holds herself that pulls your attention, not because she's dressed in anything flashy or working to be noticed, but because every choice she's made feels deliberate. That's what Meryl Streep has quietly been doing for years, and not only in her films. In her everyday life, outside the camera, she has one of the most understated yet commanding approaches to dressing that I've ever looked into. She isn't chasing what's trending. She isn't trying to appear younger than she is. She simply looks like herself. And that self happens to be remarkably refined. Today, I'm walking through 5 lessons from her philosophy that I genuinely believe could reshape the way you get dressed each morning. And here's the thing. Number 4 caught me completely off guard because it challenges nearly everything the style world has told us about dressing past 50. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Parker Holloway, and today we're diving into one of the most enduringly elegant women in public life, Meryl Streep, and what her approach to dressing can show all of us about style that actually lasts. So, let's jump right in. Number 1. She consistently chooses structure first. This is a pattern I kept seeing over and over when studying how Meryl presents herself at events, interviews, press appearances, everything. She reaches again and again for garments with sharp architectural lines, well-fitted blazers, clean-cut coats, tailored trousers. Pieces that maintain their form and lend her frame real definition. And here's what's interesting. So many of us instinctively do the opposite. We grab the soft drape, the oversized cardigan, the flowing tunic, because we assume it's more forgiving. And sometimes it is. But what Meryl clearly grasps is that structure doesn't have to mean rigid. A well-tailored blazer might be one of the most flattering items in your closet because it builds shape where you need it and glides past everything else. It doesn't have to cost a fortune either. What matters is that a piece lands properly on your shoulders and carries clean lines through the body. This single idea could transform how your entire wardrobe comes together. And if you've fallen into the habit of reaching for loose and formless because it feels comfortable, I gently nudge you to try just one structured piece this week. One piece. You might be amazed at how much sharper and more intentional you look. And if that sounds good to you, hold on for number 4 because it takes this concept somewhere completely unexpected. Number 2. She exercises real discipline with her color palette. If you study Meryl's wardrobe choices across the years, you'll spot a pattern. She leans toward a very edited range. Lots of ivory, black, deep navy, charcoal, soft gray, camel, and every now and then a rich jewel tone. She's not someone who avoids color, but she's extremely deliberate about when she uses it. She doesn't add color just because she can. She brings it in when it elevates the entire outfit. And this is exactly where a lot of us stumble. We're told that women over 50 need more color to lift the face. And before we know it, we're layering coral on turquoise on fuchsia, hoping for the best. And look, there's nothing wrong with color. I'm a fan. But what Meryl teaches us is that a curated palette will always read as more polished and luxurious than a chaotic one. Consider which 3 or 4 shades genuinely make your complexion glow and make you feel most like you. Anchor your wardrobe there. Release the rest. Less clutter, more intention. What's wonderful about this is it also removes so much friction from getting dressed, because when the pieces in your wardrobe already speak to each other, you spend far less energy figuring out what works each morning. Number 3. She refuses to let an outfit overshadow her. This one is subtle, but it carries real weight. We've all seen those red carpet arrivals where someone steps out in a gown so ornate, so heavy with detail, so attention-grabbing that you recall the dress but couldn't name who wore it. That essentially never happens with Meryl. Even when she chooses something bold, she consistently reads as the focal point, not the clothing. And the reason comes down to proportion and self-editing. She selects one feature to carry the visual weight and keeps the rest dialed back. If the neckline draws the eye, then the jewelry stays quiet. If the fabric brings texture, then the shape stays clean. She never piles one statement piece onto another. And what's truly freeing about this lesson is the implication. You don't need a bigger wardrobe, you simply need to be more deliberate about how you put things together. The most stylish women aren't the ones wearing the most, they're the ones who understand what to edit out. So the next time you're getting dressed and you reach for a third accessory or a second print, stop. Ask whether the look is already communicating what it needs to. If it is, set that extra piece aside. Trust me, the outcome will feel far more refined. Now, the things I've covered so far, most women would land on those given enough time, but lessons 4 and 5 are a different story. These are the ones that I believe draw the line between women who look put together and women who look genuinely remarkable, and they're both things Meryl has practiced so quietly and for so long that most people haven't even noticed. Number 4. She dresses for the body she has today, not a decade ago and not a decade ahead. This is the one that truly made me pause, because I think most of us walk around carrying a picture in our minds of how we once looked, or how we feel we ought to look, and we get dressed for that version instead of the woman standing right here. Meryl doesn't operate that way. When you track how her style has shifted over the decades, it's obvious she's always adjusting. She's not reaching back for a silhouette from her 30s. She's not holding on to shapes that have stopped working for her. She looks at her reflection and dresses the woman who's actually there. And what strikes me about that is it's fundamentally an act of self-acceptance. It's a way of saying, I see myself honestly, and I believe she deserves to be dressed beautifully. And that, in my view, is the furthest thing from vanity. That's reverence. So if you're still keeping a pair of jeans from 15 years back hoping they'll zip up again someday, or if you've been steering clear of mirrors because the reflection doesn't line up with the image in your mind, take this as a gentle nudge to release that. Dress the woman in front of you. She deserves your care. She deserves lovely things. And once you begin doing that, once you genuinely start dressing for who you are in this moment, something opens up. You quit battling yourself and you begin honoring yourself. And that is the point where style stops being a struggle. Number 5, she approaches getting dressed as an act of quiet self-respect. This is the one it took me the longest to fully grasp, and it's the one that resonates the deepest. Meryl Streep doesn't dress to win anyone's approval. She doesn't dress to outshine anyone else. She gets dressed because she holds the belief that presenting yourself with thought is a way of respecting both yourself and the people you're with. And when you see her in interviews, at festivals, even caught in unguarded moments, there's this through line. She always appears considered. Not excessive, not labored over, just considered. As though she took a quiet moment that morning and chose things that said, I'm present and I count. And I believe that's the truest lesson in all of this. Because getting dressed was never really about fashion. It's not about staying current. It's about choosing every single morning that you are deserving of the effort. It's about declining to disappear. And for women past 50, that carries enormous weight. The world has a habit of suggesting we shrink, step aside, blend into the scenery, stop investing in how we present ourselves. And Meryl's whole philosophy is a steady, quiet pushback against all of that. She's 76 years old and she still arrives looking like a woman who knows precisely who she is. That's not ego, that's authority. And every one of you holds that same authority within reach. It doesn't demand a designer wardrobe. It doesn't demand a stylist. It only demands the choice that you will show up for yourself each day on purpose. That woman who walks into any room and you simply feel her presence, she isn't wearing more than you. She simply decided somewhere along the way that she was worth that effort. The real question is, when you stand in front of that mirror tomorrow morning, will you decide the same thing? And if you connected with what Meryl's approach revealed today, you're going to want to come back next week because I'm examining someone whose style instincts run almost completely opposite to Meryl's, and yet she's every bit as iconic. And understanding why might be the most valuable style discussion we've had so far. All right, everyone, that is everything I have on Meryl's approach to getting dressed. I hope this video gave you something useful and maybe a spark of inspiration. If it did, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. I'd really love to hear in the comments, what is that one go-to piece in your closet that makes you feel like the most polished version of yourself? Tell me about it. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, and as always, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.